Welcome. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. So give me just 1 second here. Let's see here. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? There we go.
Welcome.
Okay,
Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. So give me just 1 second here.
There we go. All right. Muted. Okay. Trying to do something a little different. So today I'm actually adding Instagram Live on this. So that was why there was a little bit of a delay. I got to figure out how to do that better. But today was the first day. So welcome Instagram Live to the weekly live show. I am Angela W. Stillwell. I am the CEO and founder of Untapped Strengths, and I work with teams to transform them into powerhouses. And I work with high performers just like you to transform you into top 1% leaders. And today, man, my eye is watering like crazy. Okay, so today, if you saw the heading, you see that it says, something like, how does choosing joy improve your life? And if you've seen my regular post on most of the social media platforms out there today, you've seen that today is a day that it's a tough day every year. And I am choosing for today to be filled with joy. I choose that every day, but particularly on today. Why today? Because 39 years ago on this day, I actually was living in this town at the time. I've moved back here about a year and a half ago. And last year was kind of surreal waking up in this town and it being 38 years later. But it was on this day, 39 years ago, that I woke up to find out that my mom had been killed. Yeah, 5 days before Christmas. And I was a freshman in college. I was 18 years old. And, it definitely wasn't something that I was expecting. I had just seen her at Thanksgiving. We talked on the phone a couple of times between Thanksgiving and today. And, it obviously something like that shifts your life for forever. And on my post on LinkedIn, I talked about how life goes on, right? It goes on. And, right in January, I was right back in college, starting my second, I guess back then it was quarters and not semesters. I was starting my second quarter. And, the beginning of the year, it was 1984 was the Christmas that had happened. And it was January 1985. Life was going on. I was still alive. My brother was still alive. The rest of the family was still alive. So we got to choose to continue on. Back then, the way I chose to go on was to be stoic, right? It was, you know what? This happened. I get to keep going. And I I absolutely compartmentalized. I put a lot of boxes around everything and just moved on because that was what I had learned to do very young. And I want to dive into that right now about how young certain things that we do, at what point in our lives are those things programmed into our brains? Listen, you've heard me say before that 90+% of every decision you make, action you get, and action you take and result that you get is driven by your subconscious brain. Well, guess what? For like the first 7 years of your life, you basically have nothing except a subconscious brain. You have zero critical thinking skills. You have no prefrontal cortex. Yes, those are a lot of scientific terms, but you have zero critical thinking skills from 0 to 7. So everything that you're learning is coming in without a filter. Girls are to look pretty and not speak up. Boys don't cry. Money doesn't grow on trees. Any of those sound familiar? Look, those are things that we take in and we believe are absolute truth because we don't have the critical thinking skills to discern what truth really is. So everyone who is feeding into us during that time, whether it's parents or teachers or, preachers or whatever religion or whoever the influencers are in our lives between 0 and 7, they get to enter your subconscious brain without any filtration. Okay. And if you don't make adjustments to that over time, those will continue to impact everything that you do going forward. People hear things like money stories and relationship stories and stories about love and stories about, the way that the world is. Is the world good or bad? Are people good or evil? Is life hard or is it easy? Does money come easy or do you have to work hard to get it? All of these things start being programmed from those very first years of our lives. For me, those first few years of my life, I was a little kid and I didn't realize that anything could be different, but I did know that things were, what's the word I'm looking for? Now I use the word dysfunctional, right? I obviously wasn't using that word when I was 5 years old, but that's the word that I use now. And I can remember being 5 years old and hearing my mom on the phone with my dad, and they were fighting, and she was wondering when he was coming home. And I can remember walking into the kitchen and thinking to myself, and remember, these are unfiltered thoughts, right? Because all this has been put in my head without a filter. All I thought was, I will never be like that. Begging, whatever, right? Now, listen, I love my mom, love her, loved her. I love my dad, despite the fact that, he did some of the things that he did. And it was a difficult childhood. Reality is, it was a difficult childhood. I didn't realize how difficult it was until I was older because it was my norm, right? Listen, why am I bringing all of this up? Because it's the same for many of you. It's amazing how many people that I have met over the years since I've been doing, attending masterminds, holding masterminds, doing coaching, going to coaching, hiring coaches, being part of, I think I mentioned the other day, 20 years ago, I was in Strategic Coach with Dan Sullivan. It's been a long time that I've been in this realm of personal development and where I've been working with my clients to help them develop. And I've gotten a lot deeper into the neuroscience piece. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the 0 to 7 years and, how different neural pathways get written and how that impacts your life. Okay. So why am I talking about all of this? And why was the headline, How Choosing Joy Can Improve Your Life? Because there was a point, back in, I'd say probably 2011, 2012. I can't remember exactly when now, which year it was. But there was something related to my mom's death that I was having to attend. I was having to attend a parole board hearing. And when I was leaving that parole board hearing, I heard a voice that said, choose joy. I was not happy about hearing that voice at that time. Not happy at all. I was in the middle of a divorce. I was going to a parole board meeting. I had a 2.5-hour drive back by myself. I didn't have a business at the time. Life was not easy. There was a lot of turmoil in my life at that time. And to hear what I now believe was God say, choose joy, I wasn't happy. He and I had quite the argument on my 2.5-hour drive home. But what I found was that over time, as I leaned into choosing joy, it really is a choice. It really is a choice. You get to choose. When people say, he made me angry, no, he didn't make you angry or she didn't make you angry. Nobody makes you do anything as far as how you feel, right? It's a choice. Now, it can be programmed because remember, 0 to 7 years old, things get programmed and there's no filter. However, as you get older and you do develop that prefrontal cortex, and by the way, it's not fully developed until you're in your mid-20s. So even from, 7 to your mid-20s, you still don't have the ability to make complete decisions because you don't have all of your critical thinking skills. And by the way, schools don't teach it, college doesn't teach it, or very rarely do they teach it. Employers rarely have anything to help people learn critical thinking skills any longer. So your critical thinking skills that you develop on your own are based on these things that were input into your brain without a filter at a very young age. Okay? So here's my challenge for you. My challenge for you in choosing joy or choosing happiness or choosing whatever it is you choose. Anger is a choice. Fear is a choice. Sadness is a choice. Yes, I get that there are some chemical imbalances that are out there and some people are depressed and there are things like that that happen, right? I get that. I'm not talking about those situations. The vast majority of people, however, that are angry, that are sad, that are overwhelmed, that whatever, you name it, you can pull up whatever word it is for you, it's a choice. Now, you may think and feel that it isn't a choice, that it just happens. However, from a brain science standpoint, they've done scans of the brain, and before an emotion hits the center of your brain that carries the emotion, there is a thought that hits the part of your brain that carries conscious thought or subconscious thought, right? And your subconscious thoughts in one area, your conscious thoughts in another. So there's a thought, and that thought is based upon what you have been imprinted with. Okay. So all of those things that you were imprinted with from 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, 21 to 25, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's big T trauma, little T trauma. There's all sorts of traumas and things that have happened in life that have imprinted you up to this point, and you build your meaning about different events based on things that have happened in the past. Here's the thing. Those things from the past only exist in your mind. They no longer exist. They no longer exist. Those events are no longer happening. So the fear that you're feeling, the overwhelm that you're feeling, the fear that you're feeling, the anger, the frustration, whatever that looks like, it no longer exists. So you get to choose. You get to literally choose how you feel going forward. Now, you've heard me talking about using your future self to decide how you're going to act today. Most people are operating based on their past self. They're saying, well, it's my past who made me who I am today. That's a yes and. It's a yes and. Yes, your past got you to where you are today. Yes, you have certain beliefs. Yes, you give certain meanings. Yes, 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 yes. And when you choose to step wholly into your leadership, here's what happens. When you choose to wholly step into your leadership, here's what happens. You take 100% responsibility 100% of the time. Now, this does not mean that you are responsible for whatever happened, right? It means that you are responsible for however you respond. Notice I used the word respond rather than react. React is based on the meaning that we give something that's based on the belief that we already have in our brain. Okay. So a reaction is an automatic, habitual reaction to something. It's how we act after an event has happened, and it's based on a past experience and the meaning that we gave to that past experience. Now listen, events are neutral. They just are. They're just neutral. And I know that there are really bad things that happen in life, and those bad things are neutral until we give them meaning. That's not to say that, it's not moral or immoral. It's not that it's not good or evil, or that it's not, but all of those things are based upon what we have given the meaning to be. Okay. So, like I said, several years ago in the middle of my divorce, I think again around 2011, 2012, I hear this thing that said to me, I hear this voice say to me, choose joy. And here's what I get to do on the memory of losing my mom incredibly tragically. And if you've ever lost a loved one in any form or fashion, particularly in a tragic mode, this is for you too. What I get to do is I get to choose joy. My mom was filled with joy despite everything she had been through in life. Okay. She was happy. She was brilliant. She smiled. She loved this time of year. She loved Christmas. The last picture of her that was ever taken was in front of a Christmas tree. She had this big smile on her face. That was her happy place. And for years, I dreaded Christmas. There were years I didn't put up a Christmas tree. There were years that I would wait to do it. And listen, there are still times that I have moments where I'm down. That's reality. When we love someone and they're no longer around, we miss them. And that's okay. And even in the middle of that, I still choose joy. I still choose to see the Christmas lights, and every blue light that I ever see on a Christmas tree or in Christmas decorations, I'm like, that's my mom. Blue is her favorite color. She loved blue lights. She loved the song Silent Night. I listen to it and I think about her. I think about the joy that she had. She loved the beach. Oh my gosh, I have so many funny stories about her. And just that if you're old enough to remember who Carol Burnett was, or is, I can't remember if she's still alive or not. Sorry, Carol, if you are. But a lot of people would say that my mom was very much like Carol Burnett. So yes, my mom was brilliant. She was smart. And by the way, I think Carol was too. And Lucille Ball also. Both of them people have said that my mom very much like them. Okay. My mom was only 38 years old when she was taken. Okay. And I don't know what she would be like if she were still around today. I don't know if she would still choose joy the way that she did then. But on her last night on the face of the earth, in the middle of this really ugly situation that she was in, she was at a Christmas party with friends and family. And she was laughing and she was enjoying herself. She was choosing joy. Okay. We all get to do that. We all get to do that. We get to choose joy. It makes a huge difference in your life. It makes a difference from a lot of different perspectives. There's neurochemicals that are involved. There's all sorts of things. When you're not in a place of joy, when you're in a place of fear and frustration and anger and overwhelm, you're getting adrenaline, you're getting cortisol, you're getting lots of hormones and chemicals streaming through your body that age you, that impact your organs negatively. They obviously impact your mood negatively, okay? Which is going to impact the relationships that you have around you. It's going to impact the outlook that you have on things. It's going to impact whatever state you choose to be in. Joy, sad, happy, frustration, anger, whatever you choose. And remember, it is a choice. It is a choice. It's not always an easy choice. It is a choice. I'm not saying that those other emotions aren't real. I'm not saying that those other emotions aren't normal. They are. There is a time to be angry. There is a time to be frustrated. Fear can save you in certain situations. But to operate daily from a place of fear or anger or frustration or hatred, let me tell you something. That will eat away at you. You've heard the saying, it's like swallowing poison and hoping the other person will die. That's what hatred is like, or anger, right? It's like taking poison and hoping the other person will die. You don't. the other person doesn't, it eats away at you. So my encouragement to you is throughout all of this, whether you celebrate Christmas or some other holiday, or family is nuts, or you have lost a loved one, or maybe you're in the process of losing a loved one right now. And gosh, for those of you who have been through those things or are currently going through those things, or maybe you're in the middle of a divorce, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're in financial turmoil, whatever that looks like for you, my heart goes out to you. It truly does. And I want you to remember that you still get to make a choice. You still get to choose. Do I want to choose joy? Do I want to choose happiness? Do I want to choose grace? Do I want to choose gratitude? When you choose those as opposed to the other, your life shifts in ways that are inexplainable. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he literally healed his whole entire body. He was riding his bike and was hit and broke all kinds of bones and messed up his spine, and was told that he'd never walk again, that his life would never be the same, that he was going to be in a wheelchair the rest of his life if he survived, right? And what he did was every day he started envisioning every bone in his body healing. He chose joy. He chose determination. He chose healing over sickness. He chose perseverance over accepting failure. He chose healing over sickness. Okay? And guess what? He healed. His brain healed. His body healed. Everything healed, and he is 100% now. And for years, he's been speaking about this. He does live events on this. He teaches meditation and all sorts of things. He is a walking, living, breathing example of what I'm talking about. I am a walking, living, breathing example of what I'm talking about. I have clients who are walking, living, breathing examples of what I'm talking about, where they choose to shift their thoughts to something that they have chosen, not something that has been put in their brain by someone else or something else. Okay? We all get to do this. And my hope for you and my challenge for you is that you choose joy, that you choose happiness, that you choose health, that you choose love, that you choose gratitude. Okay? All right. And if you are one of those people, like most of us, who are surrounded by people who don't choose those things, it can be hard, right? It can be very hard. And we get to choose to have a community around us that helps support our ability to do this. And if that's something that you're interested in, look, I've chosen and I have paid to be a part of a community for many, many years, lots of different communities that have gotten me to where I am now. I would love for you to be a part of the community that I'm putting together. The focus is going to be on leadership. The focus is going to be on really building that community. The focus is going to be on how do we shift those thoughts. The focus is going to be on the power skills, the gratitude, the emotional intelligence, and more that really get you into a place to be able to do the things that I am talking about today. If that is something that you're interested in, I would love for you to be a part of it. It's going to be a really cool community. And it's something that wherever you are in life, this is something you're going to be able to do. Okay. Yes, I have very high-end programs and coaching services that my clients are part of. And this is something new that you're going to be able to be a part of. And I can't wait for you to join me. If this is something that you're interested in, I would love for you to send me a DM on whatever platform you're on, or place a comment below this video. If you're on Instagram, you're going to need to send me a DM, okay? Because once this shuts down, the video disappears on Instagram, but everywhere else, know that the video stays up. So if you comment on the video, I will see your comments. If you send a DM, I'll obviously be able to find that everywhere. And you guys, I must apologize for my dog barking in the background downstairs. I thought that I had locked them up, and they are driving me crazy with this barking. I hope that you can't hear it. Anyway, I can't wait for you to be a part of the community. I can't wait to hear from you. I wish you a very Merry Christmas. I will see you again next week. Next week is right after Christmas. So I will see you then with the weekly live show. In the meantime, enjoy your holiday season. Enjoy any time that you take off. Take a breather, take some time for yourself, and remember to choose joy. Love you all very much. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me, and I can't wait to see you soon.